his personal toilet.
But sinks, toilets, and showers.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15 times.
Elements of bathrooms.
We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15 times.
Elements of bathrooms.
What on earth is going on with Trump and toilets? Trump's White House toilet would be clogged with documents that Donald Trump was flushing down the toilet. Is this the explanation?
Big massive dump.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15
Trump
times.
is doing this with his personal toilet.
Elements of bathrooms.
And showers.
Big massive dumps.
Elements of bathrooms.
Duty. 10 times, 15 times. Not me,
Elements of bathrooms.
God bless the United States. Thank you very much.
Elements of bathrooms.
Look at those eyes, man. That dude is gone, ladies and gentlemen.
Alex Jones is now very, very upset with me.
Look at that. That is a frickin' predator right there. Who thinks he's smarter than you, thinks he's better than you, and he's gonna beat you. Pac-Man never talked to the New World Order, because Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. He's not a knight at the round table.
That's true. I'm not a knight at the round. That actually is accurate.
That dude is gone, ladies and gentlemen. Pac-Man. If I was telling my children who not to be, it's Pac-Man. Man's a loser. Smarter than you, thinks he's better than you, and he's gonna beat you.
The evil's growing, it's coming. What you asked for is now at the door, scratching. So open the door and prepare to meet your destiny.
Pac-Man's a loser. Man's a loser. That is a frickin' predator right there. Who thinks he's smarter than you, thinks he's better than you, and he's gonna beat you.
Well, welcome everybody. Today is a very special day. It is finally here. It's like Christmas morning for the Goyim. It is the David Pakman Show Member Town Hall. Now, you might be saying, well, hold on a second, David, if this is like a members only thing, why am I able to see the stream?
Oh, the bonus show where you want to make money, but everybody else that makes money to fund themselves is bad.
Right. Well, it's wide open for everybody to watch, but today we will only be inviting our website members to participate in the town hall, which is going to be at the top of the hour. I have a bunch of things to go over with people before that time because I was in Montreal and doing different things, and I have not been streaming, but we are getting back to streaming. People are already getting banned, which I love to see. You know, it's not really a live stream until people start getting banned, and we will start the town hall at the top of the hour. Now, momentarily, I am going to be giving all of the different admonishments about this town hall, because already, like with almost everything, people are extremely confused about when is the town hall, who can call in, how do you call in, when is the town hall, who's allowed to call in, who's allowed to watch, when is the town hall. Okay, so we're going to get to all of those things, but relax, okay? Everybody relax. We have many, many important things to go through. Now, you might be wondering, David, there's a glitch. You're glitching like Trump. Why does it say 9 members already? Because 9 people already got Twitch subscriptions just while I was playing the various introductory songs. One important question is, if you sign up today, can you participate in the town hall? And the answer is yes. Julie Pollock just signed up, and Stephen Robbins just signed up, and Barry Russell just signed up, as well as Maxwell Ross just signed up. So even if you sign up today, you can participate. Here's how you get permission. You go to our Discord, davidpakman.com/Discord, and message the bot Pacman. Now that's PAC hyphen. That's the bar that's up, not the one that's on the floor, the underscore, the middle bar. PAC-MAN. You message a screenshot of your member portal on the website. They will adjudicate you a member, and then you will get access to the members only waiting lobby. Okay. Very, very important. You must do that in order to be authenticated in Discord. And I'll repeat that probably 100 times so that everybody understands it. Okay? Thank you very much. And thanks to Charles Wieland as well for the Twitch Prime subscription. Well, listen, Newsmax is covering the foremost scandal of our time. It's the Hunter Biden laptop from hell. Now, you might be saying, David, Trump's lawyers now need lawyers because they are participating in the lying about the Mar-a-Lago search warrant. And there are now pictures proving that Trump had top secret documents and blah, blah. No, 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 no. The real story right now is the laptop from hell. And indeed, that is what Sean Spicer is covering on Newsmax. It is completely and totally beyond belief. I think that as a result of all this, Hunter Biden's going to have a really hard time winning his election. What election? I have no idea. But because of all the discussion, I'm sure this is very bad PR for Hunter Biden. Okay, let's get into some things. I got a very interesting question that did not make it into viewer questions for this week. And I'm going to answer the question. The question is, David, did you ever have an encounter with just an overtly racist person in your life? Yes. Yes, I have many, many times. Now, I have two stories. These are just two anecdotes. Okay, these are two anecdotes. And I could give you dozens of these anecdotes, but I'm going to give you two. One is anti-Semitic, and Jews, it's a religion and an ethnicity. And I consider anti-Semitism a form of racism. You can call it xenophobia, whatever. I consider it a form of racism. So let me give you two examples. Okay, first one is an anti-Semitic example. Some of you may remember that I once worked at the now defunct electronics chain, Circuit City. Now, after working at Circuit City, I later was hired by a company that marketed high-speed internet. This was when high-speed internet was relatively new. Some people still had like the dial-up, that type of internet. And getting onto high-speed internet was something that was, sort of for the elite, I guess you would say. So the company that I worked for promoting high-speed internet would have me in different stores. Sometimes they would send me to a Best Buy. Sometimes they would send me to a Circuit City. And once I ended up in the very same Circuit City that I previously worked at. And I walk over to an employee who works at Circuit City, and I was friendly with all of the employees there. And the guy says to me, I just had the most Jewish customers. And of course, as soon as I hear that, bang, my radar goes up and I go, really? What do you mean by that? What do you mean that they were Jewish? And he says, they kept asking for a deal. Like they really want a deal. And I go, oh, right. Because white customers don't want deals, right? And like Hispanic, nobody else wants a deal. Just Jews want deals. And he goes, no, but it was just like these people were so cheap. And I go, I'm Jewish, right? And he goes, oh, I shouldn't have said it in front of you. No, the problem is thinking this stuff. Yes, it wasn't a great idea to say it in front of me, but the problem was that you believe this stuff. Okay, so that's just like, it's overt xenophobia, racism, call it whatever you want. All right, so that's one example. Second example, at our old studio, when we were in Boston and we had the studio in downtown Boston, it was an office building with a number of floors, and each floor had a number of different businesses. And there was a business on the floor. I'm not even going to say what type of business it was because there's only one of these types of business in the building. And for a while, this was our mailing address and people could easily figure out what business it was. But there was a business there. And the guy who ran the business, he would often make pseudo inappropriate comments. Like they weren't overtly necessarily racist, but it was like not so good. He would comment about, the racial makeup of some of the kind of like Skid Row type places in Boston and this type of thing. And we had this day where I had behind me, we had this very old, like 65-inch TV. The TV just got old. We were revitalizing the studio. I didn't need this TV anymore. And as some of you may know, you can't just put a 65-inch TV in the trash. You have to arrange for its disposal or find like an electronics recycling day or whatever. So I said, I don't even have a vehicle big enough to transport this thing. Rather than rent a U-Haul, I'll just call one of these disposal companies, like my 1-800 My Trash or something like that. And they show up and they get rid of it. So I call the company And they make an appointment. They go serve with tears in their eyes. They said, we love taking TVs out. We'll be there. We'll take the TV out. No problem whatsoever. So the disposal professionals show up, and it happens to be two black guys. Now, the building, there's security at the lobby, and then there's security on the floor, and there's security to get, there's like a door, with the doors locked to our studio. So it's like 3 layers of security. There aren't random people walking around here. And this guy comes out of the racist guy. He comes out of the bathroom and he sees 2 black guys carrying a 65-inch TV towards the elevator, which is what I had contracted them to do. And he runs up to me out of breath and he goes, David, do you know that a TV was removed from here? Do you know that they're taking a TV? And I'm like, you mean the guys with the 1-800-MY-TRASH shirts that have passed 3 layers of security to get rid of the TV that I'm paying them to get rid of? He goes, yeah. I'm like, they passed 3 levels of security and they're getting rid of the TV. I contracted them. And he goes, oh, and it's just so obvious. And he says, oh, it looked a little weird. So I just wanted to make sure that this was not a burglary in the middle of the day after getting through 3 layers of security and having to go out through 3 layers of security. And I guarantee you, if it was 2 white guys, this guy was not going to express concern. So anyway, 2 little anecdotes that may be more relevant to some people than to others, but there we are. All right, let's get to some other things that, have I been muted this entire time? The entire time I've been muted? I have been? Okay. All right, well, too bad. I'll skip those stories. Let's look at a few other things, and we are approaching the town hall at the top of the hour. Thanks to Erroneous, as well as Bernie on a Boat, Snappy Tam, and Emily for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. If you want to participate in today's town hall, yes, the town hall is at the top of the hour. You must be a website member at joinpakman.com. And yes, it is not too late to sign up. Christopher Brown just signed up on my website, and so did Aaron Houth, putting us today at 20. Here's how you qualify to participate in tonight's town hall. Okay? First step, be a member on my website. Second step, message Pakman on the Discord. That's PAC-MAN with just a screenshot of you logged in on the website. You will then be adjudicated a member. And I see we have a number of different members. Now, I also see people in the regular waiting lobby on Discord. Today is a members-only town hall, so we are not using the regular waiting lobby. If you're in the waiting lobby, you're going to be waiting a long time, like till next week. It is a member-only town hall today with peace and love, member-only town hall today. All right, so everybody stay as calm as you possibly can. Super chats coming in. Denver. Dave, glad to be here. Just said goodbye to my sister who's moving to England. And we took a selfie watching your show together one last time. I'm definitely not crying. Thanks. Sorry that she's moving, Denver. But glad to have you here, of course. Always glad to have you here. People are in the chat are saying they don't know how to get to the town hall. Guys, I just explained it, okay? So here's how you get to the town hall. You get a membership on my website. You get on the Discord at davidpakman.com/Discord, and you message the bot Pakman. That's PAC-MAN with a screenshot of your member control panel. 3 steps, and then you'll be logged in as a member. You'll have access to the member waiting lobby. Okay, guys? And there is a command in Twitch. It's !Discord. All right, let's get to a few things that I had for everybody. Every once in a while, one of the things I like to do is to engage with a troll just to see, like these trolls that email me, what happens if I respond and I actually try to talk to them? And I regret doing it every single time. Someone named Stanley wrote to us on Facebooks and says, "We found fraud attached to you. You need to come clean with your listeners about your scam." And I said, all right, let's check it out. So I wrote back, great, please send the info of fraud and we'll come clean. No idea what you're talking about offhand. So Stanley wrote back and said, I'm sending it to the faculty license department, the FCC department. And I wrote back, we aren't governed by the FCC. The FCC doesn't govern the internet. Let us know the fraud so we can investigate. And Stanley said, yes, you are. Your broadcasting, should have been you are, right? Your broadcasting, which fall in FCC regulations. And your, of course, you're a subscriber channel as well, which falls into money's changing hands. To which I wrote back, money's changing hands is under the purview of the FTC, not the FCC. Can you let us know the fraud so that we can investigate and correct it? And we never heard from Stanley again. So when you, when you try to engage with the trolls, it goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. Peter says, what does a membership entitle me to? And is this entitlement equitable? If no, are you embracing capitalism? Peter, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. The U.S. is a capitalist country, and this is a show where sometimes money is made.
Oh, the bonus show where you want to make money, but everybody else that makes money to fund themselves is bad.
Right. Now, a membership entitles you to daily access to the bonus show, daily access to the commercial-free audio and video streams of the show. And when we have member town halls like today, you're able to participate in the town hall. Okay? I hope that that's clear. Let's look at a couple of other things. I have to tell you folks, this is on today's podcast. I love the new fiery Joseph R. Biden Jr., a reinvigorated President Biden. It's hard to dislike this.
So let me say this to my MAGA Republican friends in Congress. Don't tell me you support law enforcement if you won't condemn what happened on the 6th. Don't tell me. Can't do it. For God's sake, whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? Look. You're either on the side of a mob or the side of the police. You can't be pro-law enforcement and pro-insurrection.
Absolutely.
You can't be a party of law and order and call the people who attacked the police on January 6th patriots. You can't do it.
Anyway, I'm liking the energy. I'm liking the energy out of Biden very much. Now, in the meantime, this is so funny. Here's one of Donald Trump's many attorneys. Now, a lot of Trump's attorneys are going to need to get attorneys. And MAGA, as you all know, stands for Making Attorneys Get Attorneys. This is Alina Habba. She is now, so remember all the ketchup they threw at the wall to see what sticks? They threw at the wall. The FBI planted the documents, and it was fine to have the documents, and there were no crimes committed, and the documents were declassified, all this different stuff. Now they're going to, the crimes Trump is accused of aren't really very serious crimes. Okay? This is Alina Habba saying that Trump's being investigated for espionage, and that's so mundane, guys. It's so quaint.
And they say themselves in these papers that they filed that this is under the Presidential Records Act. So what they did was to try and criminalize Donald Trump, as they always do. They found these 3 mundane statutes, espionage and the 2 others.
Guys, listen, they're coming up with stuff that's so archaic, like espionage, and now they're investigating Trump over something as minor as espionage. And it's just a witch hunt, guys. These people are beyond parody. These people are beyond. Oh, they say attempted murder. I mean, listen, attempted and failed. You're really going to go after my client over attempted murder? It's so mundane and pedestrian. These people are really out of it. And there are reports that Christina Bobb, one of Trump's attorneys, may now herself be in some legal jeopardy, which would be delightful. It would be absolutely delightful to see. Super chat from Pappy says results in Alaska House special election coming in at 8 p.m. Eastern. Yes, I will. I'll probably cover those tomorrow. Curious to see where that goes. Sinsu says when MAGA warned about violence on 1/6, they had a structure in place to ensure that it happened. Should we assume similar planning behind threats if Trump gets indicted? Oh, yeah. When Lindsey Graham 2 days ago said there are going to be riots if Trump is indicted, what he was saying is our side is going to riot if Trump is indicted. It's a direction. It's a directive. Let's riot if Trump is indicted. It's absolutely bonkers. Okay, so Alina Habba. Ronnie Jackson is like a week late on the latest talking point. He's going back to the FBI planted evidence, even though they've already moved a few talking points beyond that.
No one trusts the FBI or the DOJ anymore.
Hold on, let me turn the volume up.
I don't trust them any further than I can throw that entire building. And so this is just their attempt to try to stave off the special master. Who knows what they got out of there? I don't trust these people at all. They came in, they spent 9 hours in there. They walked in with backpacks. They kicked out the president's lawyers, the Secret Service agents. Who knows, in my opinion, I'm just going to say, if they told me that they found something, I wouldn't know that they actually found it there, or if they just said they found it there.
Right.
I don't trust this organization anymore. The American people don't trust this organization anymore.
Yep. He's back to the wrong talking point already, if you can believe that. So there's Ronnie Jackson. That's the same guy who claims Trump weighs 239 and is 6'3" tall, if you can believe that. Here is Trump's almost Soviet-style spokeswoman, Liz Harrington. She says Biden knew all about the raid.
How much do you think the Biden administration is involved with this, specifically Joe Biden? Then again, with Joe Biden, we're never quite sure what he knows at this point with all the faux pas. But what's your sense about the Biden administration? How much do you think this is going to trail back to them?
Well, I mean, similarly to what happened with the Russiagate, right? I mean, it's most.
You guys remember the Russiagate?
Largely the same people that were involved in the Obama-Biden administration and the setting up the false accusations of Russia collusion with the Clinton campaign. But that was all spun into motion during the transition period, using, this lawfare, but also the intelligence community against their political opponents. So I think they're very much involved. I think it's very much the same people. And that's what we really need, I think, to your point, David, the answers to. We need accountability here. The American people have had their rights trampled on. They've had their border open. They've had their dollar and their economy.
Anyway, so that's Liz Harrington. It's pretty much full on, like beyond parody. It's crazy, crazy stuff. Thanks to Nasty Q's Andre Bavaria as well. And Dirtnap for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, putting us at 23. There is still time. The town hall starts in 7 minutes. If you sign up today, you can still participate. Cassandra Wilson and Jim McNeil just signed up on my website and are new members 24 and 25. Also, big thank you to Joseph Pierce, who just gifted a subscription and is new member number 26 today. Speaking of Joe says via Super Chat, David, love the show. Any updates on the finance channel? Looking forward to it. We're at this point, we're down to just sorting out like 1 or 2 technical issues, and then we're going to be ready to launch the finance channel. And I might even be ready on the Saturday Trump rally stream, maybe even tomorrow night on the Biden national address stream to welcome our first subscribers to that channel. Significant information coming up. So we've got a lot coming up. Let's see. Couple other things I had for you. Don't want to do any more of that. Oh, yeah. The other day, there was like I had a hair sticking out horizontally during about half the show, like 6 inches out of my head. And I recognize now that it was really, really distracting to the audience. So I apologize about that. I did correct it during a commercial break when I noticed it. But I do want to apologize for that. It was crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, yeah, let me mention one other. Thank you, Jabby Gats, with a very good reminder. There is a an infestation of fake accounts on YouTube that are using my face as their profile image, and it looks like it's David Pakman, and they are responding to comments on YouTube saying, hey, I want you to DM me. Please DM me or message me on WhatsApp. It's all scams, okay? I love everybody. I am not DMing with anybody. I'm too busy. The only time I'm talking to people in the audience are when people stop me to chat on the street. Like when I was in Montreal, more people than anywhere I've ever been, stopped me on the street in Montreal, some with tears in their eyes saying, sir, I love the show, or via the Discord. Okay. I'm not DMing anybody. So they are all scams. If someone responds to your comment on YouTube, says, oh, please WhatsApp me or whatever, report it as impersonation, ignore it. Every week I'm getting a dozen emails from people saying, David, I DM'd you and then I didn't hear back. Were you trying to get a hold of me? No, I am not trying to get a hold of you. Okay. Who on the right would you defeat faster in a debate? Liberal hive mind, Salty Cracker, or Tim Pool? I don't know who the first two people are, so it's impossible to say. Cisco says, David, I was considering purchasing a firearm for home protection. However, my wife talked me out of it. Given the state of MAGAs and fear of political violence, do you think I'm overreacting? Okay, so here is what I'm going to say about this, because a lot of people have asked me about my view on the firearm element, and I have opted out of talking about my personal firearm ownership or lack thereof. It just seems neither here nor there from the standpoint of the show. So I don't talk about whether I own guns, but what I would say is the following. On the one hand, having a firearm at home is not without risks. Okay? Sometimes there are negligent discharges and people injure themselves or their loved ones with firearms that they have for home defense. Okay? At the same time, I don't know that I want only the right-wing nuts having the guns. Like, I would rather there not be this firearm cultural obsession in the United States and the sick gun culture and all of it. I hate all of it. I would rather it not be an issue. It is an issue. And if you say, are you cool with just the right-wingers having the guns? That's also an understandable concern, Cisco. Okay, so you've really got to decide what's right and what's safe for your family. But you're not wrong to be asking a lot of these questions. That's absolutely and completely for sure. Okay. Couple Herschel Walker clips before we get to the town hall. Let's see if we can understand anything that Herschel Walker is talking about.
You have a huge following in Georgia, where you're from, and people followed your football career so closely there and embraced you in a lot of ways. One of the things that from your past during a really difficult time in your life, suggestions, abuse allegations from your former wife and from a few other women out there. So you had to have known that you were going to see the kind of ads that are out there right now. Do you wish that you hadn't run given this, or what's your reaction? And what do you say to people who watch these ads and have a question about you now?
Right.
Well, I don't think they have a question about me. One thing you can see that I'm very transparent. I've been very transparent. People know that I've been knocked down many times, but I've gotten up. My ex-wife and I, we're the best of friends with her husband and my wife. We have done a lot of things together, and I did that to help people because you can be walking around wounded mentally. But one of the things I want you to know is as long as you seek help, there's people out there that can help you. But people want to demonize that. I'm going to be a champion for mental health. I will always be a champion for mental health, and that's the way I did it. But people see where I'm at today. Where I'm at today is I'm here to help people. I'm here to help Georgians because Georgia needs someone to go to Washington to represent them honestly. Not.
All right, kind of a interesting response. Here's another one.
You don't quit.
What do you see as some of the biggest problems going on in our country today?
I think some of the biggest problems going on in our country today, we have so many celebrities telling people that they can't do it. telling a lot of people, oh, it's you can't do it. Like, you got to feel bad for yourself, feel sorry for yourself, which is sad to me because when they made,
Paul McCartney recently told a whole group of kids, you can't do it.
They've done it, but they're telling you can't do it. And it's like, God, you did it. Why they can't do it? I think to tell our kids that they can't do it, or to tell making our kids feel sorry for themselves.
Yep. No, that's a big issue. And here's one more.
Herschel Walker is still standing. My bike is not bent, so anyone can ride my bike. Like, he seemed to have Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden riding his bike because he seemed to be voting for whatever they say.
Mm-hmm. And that's, of course, a paramount issue in the United States that if we don't deal with soon, it could be the end of the republic, quite frankly. So there's Herschel Walker's insights on everything that's going on, as you can imagine. All right, folks, it is the top of the hour. It is time for the David Pakman Show Member Town Hall. Member Town Hall. This is the way that it works. Today's town hall is open to website members. Now, of course, we are live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Everybody is welcome to hang, but we will be taking questions only from our members. So first and foremost, where are we taking the questions? Discord. If you are a website member, go to davidpakman.com/Discord. You need to be verified as a member. In order to do that, send a screenshot of yourself logged into the member panel on the website to the user Pakman on Discord. That's PAC-MAN, and the moderators will get you adjudicated a member. Now, a few different things. We are using the member waiting lobby. I already see people in the waiting lobby who are not going to be called on. Any parentheses or brackets in your name to put yourself at the top of the list will disqualify you. It's a lame trick, okay? I go randomly, so it doesn't help you, and it's just annoying. Also, the name format should be your name or some part of it, your first name, and where you are, okay? Like, for example, Bobby from St. Louis or something like that, all right? If your name doesn't conform to that, I see strange nicknames, I see brackets, I see parentheses, all these different things. You are not going to be called on, okay? Those are the rules for today. And that's basically the gist of it, all right? So let's get right into it. It is the David Pakman Show Member Town Hall. Today, to kick us off, we are going to go to Cade from Tampa, Florida. Cade, welcome. Please kick us off on a strong note. Oh, God. Cade from Tampa, you have muted yourself. Please unmute yourself. And last chance for Cade from Tampa to fix your audio, sir. All right. Did not work there. Not particularly inspirational. All right. Let's go to Mika from Massachusetts. Mika, please rescue us here on this town hall. Oh, boy. Mika from Massachusetts, go. Oh, man. All right. Oh, boy. Let's try Laura from southeastern Virginia. Laura, please. Laura, are you there? Laura from southeastern Virginia, I can see that you are muted. Please unmute yourself, Laura. You have a mute icon next to your name. Laura, please unmute. Laura from southeastern Virginia, please unmute yourself.
Hi.
Laura.
Hello. I'm surprised to be called on.
I'm surprised too, but yet here we are.
Actually, I had more of something I wanted to say to you rather than a question. Is that okay?
Well, we do want to focus on questions, but I will allow it as long as it's pithy.
I have been very impressed with how you have dealt with people that call in on your show that are neurodiverse.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean by neurodiverse?
I think you mean autistic.
On the autism spectrum, ADHD, all of those, all of the developmental cognitive disabilities.
Well, I appreciate that.
I wanted to say it's nice to hear you. I'm not as far on the spectrum as some, but it's nice to hear you talk to the people with respect, have patience when their questions are a little long-winded, and it just makes me feel good about it because I don't like the way some people are treated, and it makes me hide my disability because of it.
Well, I appreciate that very much, Laura. Thank you.
Well, and that was all I really wanted to say.
All right. I appreciate your support on the website. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. There we go. Very, very powerful first call. Let's try going back to Cade. Oh, no, Cade is gone. Cade, I'll go back to you if you get back on. Okay. All right. Let's try Mika from Massachusetts. Mika, let's give it another shot. Welcome.
Righty. Thank you for calling on me, David. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
So in light of the recent news on Gorbachev passing yesterday,
yes,
I wanted to sort of ask you how you think about historical figures who, on the one hand, have like unquestionably, committed human rights abuses, and have, very sort of like problematic past, but also on the other hand, worked for, diplomacy and allowed, the Soviet Union to sort of disintegrate without any extreme military intervention on any of the breakaway republics. How do you think about somebody with a complicated legacy like
I mean,
that?
listen, at a micro level, everybody I'm guessing, has things you like about them and things that you don't. Is that fair, Mika?
That's absolutely fair.
So the way I think about it with historical figures is that, but blown up to really, really, really big and important things. And so with Gorbachev, and we spoke about him on the bonus show today, where you want to make money, but everyone else who makes money is bad. We spoke about Gorbachev today on the bonus show, and we talked about the fact that there is no record that is uniquely good. Now, that doesn't mean if you're Hitler, but you also bring food to an orphan, we say it kind of balances out, right? That's not what we're saying. But I think that we're basically, I try to see historical figures as more sort of intense versions of normal people, which is people are complicated, people have good and bad. Now, if there's genocide, we don't equate that to they were mean to you on the playground. That obviously has more significance. But I think it's to think about historical figures as the just people that they were.
Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot of sense. I happen to agree. I am young enough to have not been born when the Soviet Union was still a thing, so that might affect the way I see him. But I overall see the diplomacy and, like I said, the lack of violent intervention as overweighing, sort of, as contributing to his being a sort of overall favorable, good person, good actor in terms of history.
I tend to agree with you, Mika.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that. And that
All
was
right,
it.
and thank you for being a member on the website.
No problem.
All right, there is Mika from Massachusetts. Folks, we are in a members-only town hall. There are a ton of people DMing me. If you DM me to get on, you're just not going to get on. There's only one way to get on, which is you have to be a member, and you have to be in the member waiting lobby on Discord. You can still sign up today. In fact, Michael Whitney just signed up on the website at joinpakman.com and is new member number 28 today, and now gets to participate in the town hall. There's no trick to this. There's no secret to this. But let's try to keep it all together and under control. Let's go to Liz from Michigan. Liz, welcome. Liz from Michigan, welcome. You are muted yourself. You have to unmute yourself, Liz, please. And Liz from Michigan, if you are able to, I've unmuted you, but you are self-muted as well. You need to unmute yourself.
Hi, how are you?
How are you, Liz? Liz, you're on. We heard you ask how I'm doing, and I'm doing fine. Now you can speak. Liz, you are on the show, and you did unmute yourself, so it's just a matter of it's really just a matter of talking now. Oh boy.
Can you hear me?
I heard that.
Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you. Ask whether I can hear you, but otherwise not hearing anything else. Okay. All right, Liz, it sounds like there are technical issues there. Let's go over to Cade. Cade from Tampa, please. Welcome. Save us, Cade.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. Hey, you called me earlier and my audio was messed up.
I know, but I'm glad we were able to make the connection.
I'm glad we made it work out. Anyways, I had a question about gun buyback programs and them being very popular on the left. And I kind of see where the right is coming from when they say they're not going to work, because the idea is criminals won't participate and that only law-abiding, non-violent citizens will be the ones willing to sell their guns. So it seems kind of like, you know, it helps the issue of number of guns, but it doesn't really help the issue of who owns them. And I was wondering your take on that, or your response, because the intuitive logic there is pretty sound, in my opinion.
So here is my thought on this. Any one idea to curb gun violence can easily be criticized with the following statement: that's not going to solve the problem. And of course, that's true. There is no one provision that's going to solve the issue of gun violence. So you're completely right. If all you do is a gun buyback, that's not going to end gun violence, because the people who have the guns illegally to begin with and want to keep them in order to possibly commit crimes, even if it's a buyback where it's like no questions asked about how you got it, just bring it in, we're not going to ask questions, the criminals will keep the guns. Sure. So you've got to do way more. And that's why I've outlined a list of, 10 to 12 different things that I would do, because no one thing is going to fix the problem. That being said, the guns that people ultimately obtain illegally at some point were legal guns somewhere. Okay. So it still is good to reduce the number of guns in circulation, but you're right. No one provision. It's sort of, listen, it's sort of like if you say the only maintenance we need to maintain cars, and someone goes, great, let's do brake pads. We're going to do a brake pad replacement program. Right, but cars break for lots of other reasons. Yeah, there's no one maintenance item that will fix every car, but you've got to do all of them. And it's a sort of similar idea.
Okay, so do you think a buyback program would be a net negative, since you're taking guns away from people who would responsibly use them in most cases?
No, I really don't. I really don't, because these so-called defensive, you're going to get guns voluntarily from people. And now, mandatory gun buyback, I don't know if you mean a mandatory or an optional, but in any case, you're going to get guns from some people who are no longer going to go to the range, for example. But when you look at the number of actual verified successful defensive uses of guns, it's a very small number. And so I don't think it's a net negative. I think it's a net positive by dramatically reducing the number of guns in circulation, which could be stolen or then sold illegally or whatever the case may be.
Okay, David, that was a perfect answer.
All right, Cade from Tampa, appreciate your membership. Thank you for the support. All right, Cade's gone. Thank you. Thank you to, by the way, people continue signing up. You're welcome to sign up today and get in on the town hall. Gilbert Daniel is our newest member at joinpakman.com. New member number 29. Let's go next. Where are we going next? There are so many members here hoping to get in. Let's go to Denise from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Denise, welcome. Denise bailed. Let's try Scott from Boynton Beach. Scott, welcome.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
So I hate Fox News, despise more than anybody.
Okay.
But and I would love to have them off of my cable. But the counterpoint to that would be my cable package also includes CNN and MSNBC.
Right.
So if you get rid of one, don't you have to get rid of the others?
Well, there's a couple different things here. If we just had straight up a la carte cable programming where you can just pick the channels you want, they can all be available, but you don't have to pick the ones that you don't want. And Fox News is different than MSNBC and CNN in that it is significantly more dependent on fees from subscribers than it is on advertising. And so if you just make all of them optional, Fox News is the one that's most at risk if people choose not to subscribe and pay for it. So I say make every channel optional, let people choose what they want, and let the market decide. That would be my view.
Okay. I would worry that runs the risk of making it, if everything went a la carte, it would make everything too expensive. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Well, obviously that's just a problem of figuring out what should it cost. Like, I think I don't know if this is right, but I think Fox gets $3 or $4 per month per subscriber, which is crazy considering so many people don't want to be giving Fox a dime. Now at $4 per channel, obviously that it's not going to make sense, but that's just a matter of figuring out the right numbers.
Got you. And one similar question is I'm pretty sure Fox is not registered officially as a news organization. Do you know if CNN is, and if they're not, why not?
I don't know, but I have to imagine CNN is registered as a news organization, but I don't have that in front of me. I can't say 100%.
Okay, well, that's all I had.
All right, thank you. Appreciate your support, Scott.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, let's continue here. Let's go to, where are we going next? It is a member town hall, and we're speaking to folks from all over. Let's go to Patrick from Vernon Hills. Patrick, welcome. Patrick from Vernon Hills, you are live on the town hall. And Patrick from Vernon Hills, it looks like you may have the wrong audio device selected. Can you hear me? Let's start there. All right. Well, that's too bad. Let's go to Jeremy from the United Kingdom. Jeremy, welcome. Jeremy from the United Kingdom, welcome.
Hey, David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, so I wanted to ask about inflation, or more specifically, European inflation.
Okay.
So the war in Ukraine, despite this Kherson offensive, it's not gonna end anytime soon. And with winter coming, and natural gas being cut off from Russia, I've read or I've heard more specifically that inflation could be skyrocketing here in Europe. I was wondering, is that going to affect the United States?
I don't know. I mean, listen, my prediction, and the prediction is worth what you paid for it, which is zero. My prediction is that we're going to see inflation continue to taper off. I don't expect a resurgence of inflation in the United States over the next 6 months. I think we're going to continue to see those numbers decline. What you're talking about, I would not be able to say for sure.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. Thank you so much for the call. Very much appreciate it, and very much appreciate your support. Let's try Eddie from San Antonio, Texas. Eddie, welcome.
Hello, David. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, David. My question was regarding Beto O'Rourke and his race for the governor's race with Greg Abbott.
Yes.
I've been seeing polls on 538, and I see he's about 5 points behind Greg Abbott, but as far as his chances of winning, according to 538, he only has about a 5% chance. Would you agree with that assessment, where Beto O'Rourke basically has no chance of winning the governorship in
Sorry, so
Texas?
your connection glitched right when you said the percentage. You said that 538 says Beto has what % chance of winning?
5% chance.
5%. Okay. Listen, I am not a pollster, so it would be weird it's like to disagree with a poll. I guess the question would be if I have a qualitative reason to think that the poll results don't reflect, for example, the momentum or something like that, I think that it's a very much uphill battle for Beto. I can't say it's 5%. That's 1 out of 20, but it's a very uphill battle. And those 5 points, those could be a very solid 5 points, depending on how the poll is done and how strong people are in their opinion. So I think the way I would say it is Beto isn't out. And I think that would be a really important race to win. So it would be an important one to fight for. But I can't say that I have different numbers to give you than actual pollsters.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, David.
Thank you. Appreciate your support. There is Eddie from San Antonio. We are in the middle right now of a member town hall. We are live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Website members are welcome to participate today. Let's go to Stephen from Washington. Stephen from Washington, an on-again, off-again website member, Stephen, I think is fair to say.
Fair to say, David. How are you?
I'm doing well.
This is Ronald Reagan.
I'm aware.
I feel like I was maybe being shadow banned because of my use of the name Reagan, and you made it clear that you do not like nicknames.
Oh, no, you were not shadow banned. No, by no means. I mean, I know you as Reagan, so that would not have gotten you disqualified. But sometimes, people don't get called on. Different things can happen.
All right, let's talk dad stuff.
Does Sam know you're calling in, first of all?
What's that?
Does Sam know you're calling in?
I mean, I always have to report back to my handlers. So
okay, fair.
He doesn't know yet, but I'm going to have to send him a message about this.
No problem. I just want to make sure it's not going behind his back. All right, talk to me about dad stuff.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I want to hear it from you. I mean, what's been good? What's the, what's the good? What's the bad? Let's hear it. The people want to know.
Well, I was definitely, I talked about how in preparation, I got like a couple diapers, and it turns out you need like way more than that.
You had like 5?
Yeah, I was like 5 diapers should be good for the first few months, and it did not work out that way. So that was difficult. No, listen, I mean, honestly, the thing that's been the most difficult is constant panic over like, is the baby alive sort of stuff. This is our first one. The first night home from the hospital, we decided to do shifts. And the whole thing was like, all right, let me take the 9 p.m. shift. NBA playoffs were going on. There was a late game. I was like, I'll stay up, and then I'll try to push it till like 2 a.m. and then we'll switch for a 2 to 7 shift, and it'll be great. And at 10:20, my daughter gagged. I just heard coming out of the bassinet, and immediately I'm up, and, she had some amniotic fluid in the lungs left over, which is common after a C-section. And I'm running around with this baby, and my girlfriend wakes up, and it's 2 a.m. We're on the phone with the pediatrician, and then we're just up, we're like basically running a vigil.
Yeah, for sure. I remember laying there after our daughter was born, and there was this, I'd gone through all the classes and stuff.
Yep.
I was being overwhelmed with this feeling of like, I don't even know how to keep this thing alive. Like, obviously it's got to eat, but like, what are the other?
And it's crazy with the eating where it's like, we'll give her food and the next day she wants more food.
Yeah, that does not stop.
It's crazy.
It hasn't for us, but it's pretty crazy. Is there anything that you feel like other than the diaper thing, what else you learned about parenting? Do you find you're more, I find that I'm much more forgiving of parents than I was as a very judgmental, non-parent adult.
Yeah, maybe to some degree, but at the same time, like in some cases, I'm more judgmental with certain things. Where like I think on balance, I'm right that I'm more forgiving of stuff that I saw with other parents. But one of the things I have learned is behind every annoying kid, there's often one or more annoying parents. That seems to hold quite accurate. But beyond that, no, I mean, there's certain things where like, listen, like we just traveled, right? We did this road trip up to Montreal, which is like very, very far with stops for baby changing and feeding and everything from New York. It's like, it's many, many hours. And like, I get why people might just say, I can't handle traveling. I just can't do it. We're just staying home. But I'm like, listen, it was tough, but it was so worth it. So I'm like, no, those parents who just stay home, I would encourage them to do the travel.
Yeah, but David, I mean, to be honest, you're kind of in a sweet spot for traveling because you've got one of those non-mobile sleep all day babies.
I know. Everybody always says, at this particular age, you're able to do what you're able to do. And I'm totally open to that. Let's wait and see how things go. And then I will eat my hat if it changes.
What are the other things that you are more judgmental about other parents on right now?
You know, I don't know. There's nothing that I'm kind of kidding about being more judgmental, but I think that now having been in the trenches with a few of these things, a lot of the things aren't that bad. Like and I'm sure it depends on the baby, but like, for example, figuring out some of the sleep stuff. Like I read a couple books on it and like, things go haywire, but then you adjust and you iterate and you develop a system. And I think sometimes there's like a lot of people just have a lack of information where like I really focused in on like, here's the 5 things that are important to me. Let me really research and be prepared for these things. And when you're prepared, things go way, way better.
So where are we at on number 2?
Where are we at in what sense?
I mean, is it on the table? Is it totally off the table?
What do you mean? Like, where are we changing the diapers? What do you mean on the table?
I'm talking about baby number 2, David.
Oh, I thought you meant like when you have to change a number 2 diaper.
No.
There is no discussion of baby number 2. There is no discussion of baby number 2.
Okay. Is this a point of contention? I mean, it sounds like maybe.
No, not right now.
It's not being it's just not being discussed.
That's exactly right. It's not being discussed. It's like, how is it even legal to have more than one is what's being discussed right now.
Okay, that makes sense. Hey, can I ask you a question?
Sure. Well, you've been asking questions all along.
I know. I've got one more question for you.
Sure.
I'll turn to the boring stuff, okay?
Sure.
So this is my Thomas Friedman corner, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to share an anecdote with you. I was talking to the lady who cuts our hair for my wife and I.
Okay.
And she's from Missouri. She seems sort of like vaguely socially liberal, but not super into politics. But I asked her about the Dobbs decision. This is like right after Dobbs.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden she sounded like David Pakman. She knew all the details. She knew about the proposed constitutional change in Kansas. She knew about this and that. And she was like, obviously it's something that is very important to her. And then she kind of circled around to like something that I hear a lot, which is like both sides are terrible, right? And I think this is sort of a default for people who find politics like boring or confusing or maybe not that interesting. And I'm wondering, if you're just in a casual conversation with someone, you don't want to get like into a full-on debate, what you would do, what your strategy is for sort of like gently pointing out that like, yeah, there's like shenanigans on both sides to be sure, but there's a difference.
My approach I call that like enlightened centrism. Usually what I will say is, can you give me examples of issues where both sides are approaching an issue in a way that is essentially the same, like not that they have the same position, but that they're equivalent. And then people will often struggle because it's like, the left wants abortions to be safe and wants to reduce the demand with comprehensive sex education and access, all these different things. And the right's like, ban it, And so very quickly people start to realize it's really not the same on both sides. It's actually quite different, but it takes a little while to start going through that. But that's been my approach.
Yeah. Hey, people in the chat are saying I'm trolling you, but I'm not. I love you, David. Thanks for all you do. The P-tape is real. And good luck with your baby.
All right, thank you. There is Stephen Ronald Reagan from Washington. Let's continue, please, folks. Let's go to Tiffany from Miami. Tiffany, welcome.
Hi, David. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Can you hear me? I love your show. David, sir, just a quick question.
Okay.
Given the structural advantages that Republicans have within the federal government,
yes,
in the event of a unified Republican government, House, Senate presidency in 2024 or 2028, do you foresee a national abortion ban?
Oh, man, do I foresee it? No, I don't think I can say that. What I can say is I foresee repeated attempts to get a federal abortion ban. I don't think
that it'll get filibustered, I guess.
I can't really say that I have a good reason right now to strongly say it will or won't happen, but I think they will try for it for sure.
Yeah, I kind of do expect it. So I live in Florida. I live in a part of Miami where there's a lot of conservative Cuban people here, and they're just very strongly Republican. Anything, if Biden breathes, they're going to complain about it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Hey, listen, have you been to the Sandwichery in Miami Beach ever?
I have never been to the Sandwichery. I usually hang out in Wynwood. I'm a little younger, so most people around my age, they kind of ditched Miami Beach, hang out in Wynwood.
Yeah, there used to be this great Israeli restaurant in Wynwood which closed, and it was
what was it called?
Oh man, I don't remember. But it was right by the art gallery area, and some of the best hummus I've ever had.
Really? I might have some friends that know about it. I went to University of Miami.
Yeah.
I'm actually from New York, but I've been living here since I graduated.
Well, listen, Tiffany, you've said it all, and I really appreciate your support.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right. There is Tiffany from Miami. We are now, I think, getting into really the meat of the town hall, where the questions are happening in a very, very powerful way. Let's go to Caleb from Washington. Caleb, welcome.
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
So I know you've talked about political extremism, but how would you recommend combating things like people using religious extremism for their political extremism?
What do you mean?
So, like, for example, I know, like, there's some, like, alt-right conservatives, but some people also will be, like, very conservative Christian, and that's what they will use to push their alt-right beliefs. But I wouldn't know how to combat those beliefs because those are even more ingrained than just political beliefs.
That may be, but we have separation of church and state in this country. We don't prioritize, at least we shouldn't, one religion over another or religion over lack of religion. And so I actually think it's, you might be dealing with people who don't want to hear it, but the case against religiously based politics and civil government is that it's quite literally a violation of the Constitution. There should be no argument even. You should be able to justify what you believe civil government should be doing without citing your religion, because that's supposed to be a private matter.
Yeah, because like my parents are like very conservative, and they make me go to church. I am personally an atheist, but like I've heard the pastor talk about like endorsing political candidates.
Right, which actually is against 501c3 laws. They're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Now hold on one second. When you say how old a guy are you?
I'm 19, but I have autism and can't really live on my own.
No, but what I mean is
so I'm still
your parents, even though you're an adult, your parents still force you to go to church.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever thought about telling them you don't want to go?
Oh, yeah, I definitely. But they say if I don't go, they take my phone.
Oh, my goodness. That doesn't sound fair at all.
I don't even know if that's legal since I paid for it, but...
Yeah, how can they even do that? So wait, you're an adult and you pay for your own phone and your parents say they're going to take it if you don't go to church. Well, listen,
yeah,
it sounds complicated. It sounds complicated and
yeah.
I don't want to go further in what it sounds like, but I'm sorry to hear that that's going on.
Yeah, it's fine. Right. But yeah, that's the background of why I was asking this question.
Well, Caleb, I appreciate you calling in.
Thank you for taking me call.
Caleb with that's a big matzo ball hanging out there. They'll take the phone. That's dicey to say the least. Why don't we go to Elle from Philadelphia? Elle, welcome.
Hello, sir. Am I coming through okay?
You're coming through fine. Thank you. Are you coming to me with tears in your eyes?
Sorry, what?
Are you coming to me with tears in your eyes to say, sir, I have a question?
Oh my God, they're just running down my face. I'm drowning in tears.
I suspected that. I suspected that.
Well, I guess I just wanted to say thank you for for whoever gifted me the membership. So that's awesome.
Beautiful.
And I guess what I wanted to pick your brain about a little bit and leave some left over for you was I guess what I've been thinking about is moving more towards, renewable, green energy. And I almost kind of feel like there is an aspect to it where we might have to kind of engage in a little bit of bad faith in order to get everybody on our side. So I guess to get to the point, say we found some magic way to get the right and any kind of climate deniers on our side by, I don't know, commodifying things that we probably shouldn't. But if it moves us in that direction, I'm kind of low-key on board with it. However, on its face, it kind of sounds like a good idea, but I am having kind of a hard time going through and thinking of what the downsides of that could be.
I don't know that I necessarily understand the question. You're saying if we found some silver bullet on green energy, that I'm sorry, I'm not sure I'm following.
I guess if it ends up being something where we kind of have to trick them into thinking it's their idea.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a classic thing from Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Let people you want to convince of something come away thinking it was their idea. I actually think that that's completely fine. I mean, we'll know whose ideas they really were. I would have no problem whatsoever if all of a sudden Republicans go, hey, you know what? Here's a great thing about electric cars and solar panels. We can make them all domestically and it'll make us self-sufficient and it'll all be great and we'll be alpha homesteaders. Let them think they came up with it. I don't care.
Right, exactly. And so that's my question exactly, or my scenario. But my question is what could be the potential downsides of that?
Honestly, I can't think of anything. I mean, a bunch of these right-wingers will think they came up with it. But they think things that aren't true all the time. So I feel like the downside is very, very minimal.
Okay. I mean, that's what I was hoping myself. I guess only time will tell. But I appreciate your insight on it.
Well, Elle, I appreciate your call and I appreciate your support.
Thank you so much.
All right. There is Elle from Pennsylvania. Let's go next to Elias from Texas. Welcome.
Hola, David. ¿Cómo estás?
Estoy muy bien, gracias.
Okay, so there was a story of Mexico City being gentrified by Americans. How can we combat gentrification in general? And specifically also America's moving to Mexico because it's cheaper.
So I wouldn't be able to say how Mexico can prevent gentrification. Yeah, I bet. I mean, in the United States, gentrification often happens because there's a circle of housing becoming more expensive and neighborhoods becoming in demand as places where wealthier people want to live to get to their higher paid jobs, pushes rents and real estate up. It then forces people, certain people, to move out. Then the businesses end up getting replaced to cater more to the wealthier people that come in. So, I think you kind of get the picture. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it. Some people say that rent controls are the way to do it. Others say zoning. I think it's really a question that is for an urban planner more than it is for me. I mean, I think we intuitively understand the problem, but the mechanics of what has to come first I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah, I think it also like contributes a lot to homelessness.
Yes.
Because if like everywhere, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't say, no, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. I think it contributes a lot to homelessness as well. And a lot of like cultures and people being erased. So I think we really need to try to prevent it.
What would you do to prevent it?
I'm not sure. I'm not a one of those people who work in housing.
Right.
I haven't even finished university, but I see it's a problem because it's happening in my neighborhood.
Fair.
So
fair.
In Fort Worth.
All right. Anything else you have for me?
No, thank you so much, David.
All right. Thank you so much for the call. We are in the middle of a member town hall. You can still participate by signing up at joinpakman.com. We will do another wide open town hall soon. This particular one is a members only town hall. And we've spoken to people, quite frankly, from all over the world. I want to speak to Squaley the expat. Now, I'm curious, why do you call yourself an expat rather than an immigrant?
Hi, David. Thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, it's from what I've experienced as an expat, it's the general term that people tend to call themselves. But I've heard actually that it's referred to as more of an upper class term or not so advantageous term.
Well, let me ask you, where are you from originally? Is it from Germany?
I'm from upstate New York, actually.
You're from New York, but then you moved to Germany?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
so
are you a white guy?
ago. I am a white guy.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've read, upper middle class and higher white Americans tend to refer to themselves as expats when they move to other countries rather than immigrants.
I've heard that too. I've heard that too. So I've been curious about which term I should use. Maybe you have a perspective, but I've been using them interchangeably, actually.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, I don't want to take up all of your time without letting you ask a question.
Yeah, no. I actually had a couple questions for you, David. So first off, thanks for doing the town hall. I think it's fantastic.
Pleasure.
I actually have a finance background as well. So I've been following you for a few years now, and love what you do.
Thank you.
First question is just more general, and if it's okay, I have a second one. So the first one is I've sort of been following from an international perspective, one might say like sort of the climate shift, the authoritarianism that's been developing in many countries, and sort of the energy crisis. So those three on top of each other, climate, dictatorships, and energy. So based off that, I'm thinking, David, where do I want to move next? And I sort of want to come back home to the States, but it's from this perspective, it's hard to tell sort of where to go. So I was wondering if you had some insight as to maybe in the next 6 months or even further, like where do you think would be a logical place to head back to the States?
You're saying geographically or industry-wise?
Well, so geographically, yes, but also considering the energy and the water issues that are going on in the West, as well as like I said, the far right movement sort of down in Florida,
right?
As well as the climate shifts. So it's kind of
okay. So let's see. I think I get it. So first of all, do you want to live in a big city or not?
Yeah. So I mean, New York's always been attractive. I like New York and Boston as well. Um,
So you
again,
do want to move to a city, is what you're saying?
I do. I
Okay.
like Berlin, and I enjoy cities. I do.
And then how about how important is climate to you and weather? Do you want to live in a warm place, a cold place, a place with seasons?
Do like seasons, David. I enjoy
Okay.
a warm cappuccino during the winter.
Okay,
And
you want
also
seasons. Are you partial to the East Coast rather than the West Coast? It sounded like you were saying you are.
I think I am. I think I
Okay.
am.
And then how about, do you want to be on the water or you don't care about that?
I do like water. Although following the recent climate news, it seems that too close to the water might not be a good long-term investment. So I'm thinking maybe a bit further from the water, but still, I do like water.
Okay. And then how about as far as in terms of airports, do you want to be right by an airport where you have lots of nonstop flights back to Europe, or are you okay connecting?
Good question. I'd prefer something direct. Yeah.
So listen, I think it's potentially Charlotte, North Carolina for you, I have to say. It's still north enough that they have seasons. It's a few hours from the water. It's an American Airlines hub. There's a bunch of different industry. And it's a city. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you need to consider Charlotte, North Carolina.
No, David, I have been to Charlotte, and I really do. I like the seafood down that way. Weather's not too bad. Perfect. So thank you so much for the recommendation.
All right, let's
I'll
keep it to
I'll
the
keep
one
it in-
question just because I have so many people holding, but I appreciate your support.
Thanks, David.
All right, there we go. It's sort of like the Bill O'Reilly concierge service. It's what it's become. Thanks to Hippie Chick and Jen here and Kind AF for the Twitch Prime subscriptions and everybody who continues signing up. I want to say thanks to Matt Dela Cruz and Luke Hollingsworth and Melly Beauregard, who have just signed up on my website and now are eligible to participate in the town hall. We have so many great people participating today. It is really, it's beyond belief. It's beyond belief, I think, is the way I would say it. Let's go to Casey from Oklahoma City. Casey, welcome.
Hey, David.
Hi.
I know Oklahoma's not the most talked about state for anything remotely positive, but Mark Wayne Mullen is running and presumably taking the seat for the retiring Jim Inhofe.
Yep.
And the Oklahoma Supreme Court may rule on a ballot measure soon about recreational marijuana in the midterms. And I was trying to, and I understand the voters that approve the measure won't necessarily vote blue, but do you think a state question like that can drive enough turnout, even in a state like Oklahoma, to flip Inhofe's seat and even maybe Langford's?
Well, listen, enough to flip is like, it's too, I can't say that. I would need to know more about the dynamics and the margins in past elections. Like, it would take a little while to look at that, but certainly ballot measures can drive turnout, particularly in midterms when turnout is otherwise lower. When turnout is typically lower, the additional voters of a ballot initiative are more likely to make a difference. So absolutely, specifically whether it's enough to flip the seats you're talking about, I'd need to know more about the numbers.
Sure. And can I make a quick comment about the bonus show?
Sure. Oh, please.
I know Alex Stearns is upset about the show, but it's true that several current and former members are too. And I don't really want to get into the details, but the content was just much different when it was the boner show. And I mean, will you ever consider bringing that back?
We are considering a transition back to the boner show. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Very good.
Oh, the
All right.
bonus
Well, wishing you and the family good health, and appreciate you taking the call.
All right. Thank you very much. Great to hear from folks all over the country, including in Oklahoma. Oklahoma's welcome. People sometimes apologize when they're from Oklahoma or some of the places in the middle of the country. There is no need to apologize. Let's go to our friend Johnny from Boston. Johnny, what's new with you?
Lots of stuff. Been traveling, and I'm glad to be on. How's the baby going?
Everybody's good.
Fantastic. So I joined Truth Central just for the hell of it, and I find it kind of a hot mess, and not in like a fun way, You have like
Truth
interactions.
Central.
How has your experience been like trying to deal with it? Honestly, I feel like it's just a lot of people watching stuff.
Yeah. The only engagement I got on Troth, honestly, was from people who are also following me just as a goof, who are just on there as a complete and total goof. Occasionally, some right-winger would respond, but it's basically a joke. And as of Monday, I stopped even posting there because it's going down in flames, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like done. It feels like a senior year project for some sort of communication.
It feels like, you know how sometimes there's these malls and they're like, it's a dead mall where like the building's there, but there's no real stores inside?
Yeah, like the Hampshire Mall.
Well, the one that used to be, the one where there is now, that's interesting you point that out. Next to the Hampshire Mall, when I was growing up in Western Massachusetts, there was the other mall, which had like the crappy movie theater. It's been knocked down. Now you've got a Whole Foods and other stuff. That's the equivalent of Troth Central now. It's the dead mall next to the Hampshire Mall.
And they have like the one toy, like the rocket ship that you put in a quarter and it works for 30 seconds. So
Yes,
that's
the
what it
one
feels
toy.
like.
Yeah, it was so pathetic. It was pathetic. That's what Troth has become.
Ugh, it's awful. Well, I might just delete my account because I'm not even getting anything. I can't even like engage or fight with anyone. It's just,
I wouldn't blame
tough,
you.
terrible.
I wouldn't blame you, Johnny.
Yeah. One last thing. I watched The Dish. Did you get to work with Tammy Brown? Hopefully you get to work with Tammy Brown again.
Not directly.
She is so much fun. So I hope you get to work with her again. How did you get
some people might not have heard, but like I'm on an episode of a reality show. You can find the info on my Instagram. It's a wild scene.
Yeah, I enjoyed it because I've seen Tammy Brown so many times live, and she's completely insane in the best way. So when I saw that you're together, I will pay the money to watch this.
All right, well, Johnny, thank you. Always great to hear from you.
Thanks, David. Have a great one.
All right, take care. I do want to say thank you to Eamon McKay, who just dumped in 10 subscriptions via YouTube, putting us at 45. And very importantly, S. Prez dumping in another 20 via Twitch. And once you combine that with Braided Dragon's new Twitch subscription, it puts us at 66. And it's an incredible thing. I also want to say thanks to Mufaro Maruzani, who just signed up on my website and is the newest member on this very special day. It is a member town hall. We haven't done one for a while, but we are doing it today. That's for sure. Let's go next to Smitty from Los Angeles. Welcome, Smitty.
Hey, David, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, great. Nice to be on. This is my first time on your show.
Can I ask, generally speaking, what part of LA you're calling from?
Downtown.
Oh, downtown LA. Downtown LA gets a bad rap, but I've had a great time when I've been there.
Yeah, it's not too bad, although there's been a lot of theft lately. I've been down in this area for about 7 years, and my car has been stolen twice, once last year and once this year.
Where are you from originally?
Kentucky.
Ah, okay. I thought I did. You didn't sound like a California guy, you know?
Yeah, not originally from here, originally from Kentucky.
Well, what's on your mind today?
So I was just wondering, do you think at this point Trump is going to get indicted, and that he really at this point has to get indicted because it's just too bad if he doesn't? And I feel like we keep on watching a show that is really, it's like something has to happen. It's like, if you're not going to indict him for this, it's like, it's coming to a head where you have to indict. It's like, this is all meant to be for, I don't know how this sound. I just think something has to happen at this point. It's kind of like,
yeah, I mean, listen, here's my view.
The gods making it happen.
I think Trump deserves to get indicted. And also,
sure.
I think that if he didn't, it would be disastrous at this point for the FBI. So I think he will be indicted, but almost certainly not before the election.
Yeah, and I also feel that the people around him every bit as much need to be indicted as well. It just seems like we go through these iterations of his lawlessness, and none of these people are held accountable. I mean, literally, well, I mean, there were some in the beginning, like Paul Manafort, and
yep.
You know, those people, but it's been a long time, and people have just continued to, you know, criminalize, in my opinion.
I completely agree with you. And I do think that, listen, I think the most likely reality is that when the FBI decided this is what we're going to do, they must have had a conversation before of like, we're almost certainly charging this guy, right? Before even making the decision to do it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I just feel like, you know, it has to come to a point where he should have been indicted already. I mean,
yes,
in my
absolutely.
opinion. And it's almost like, you know, the God saying, you know, okay, we're just going to keep doing this until you all indict, because I just think we have to face ourselves, and we have to face our country. You know, really the way I look at it, I could indict everybody, even down to myself. And what I mean by that is by not participating in the political process and not, you know, doing more to make our country great. So I even bring it down to the point where I indict myself in all this, because...
Well, listen, that's no crime.
Yeah, but, you know, it's really our responsibility. I think that it's also a message to ourselves that we have to be active, and we also have to participate if we really want the country to be, you know, we have to save it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I agree. Listen, have you ever been to the Indian restaurant in West Hollywood called Bad Mosh?
I haven't been to Bad Mosh.
I recommend it.
Is it good?
I recommend it. I went there with Hassan Piker and Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II, my agent, and Melina, and we had a fantastic meal.
Okay, I'll have to try it. I like Hassan. I watch a lot of his content and stuff when he
Hassan ordered multiple sodas during the dinner, which is something maybe to talk to him about, you know.
Well, that's something I can relate to him when I drink a lot of sodas when I'm out eating.
Fair. And you know what? It may not be in West Hollywood. Is Fairfax West Hollywood, or no? That's a different neighborhood. That's LA, right?
It can be. Fairfax is kind of like right at the beginning where it starts.
Okay.
West Hollywood.
Fair.
How do you spell it though?
Badmaash. It's the double A that gets a lot of people.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll definitely check it out. But I have quickly become a huge fan of yours, and just you know, I had seen you a little bit here and there, but recently got a bigger dose of you, and I decided to join your show. And anybody else, I would encourage them to do that, because it really is a lot of really good content, really good conversation, and I like the way that you lay things out logically. You're very logical, and you're laying out, you know, your opinions and facts. So I really appreciate that.
Well, Smitty, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay.
All right, Smitty from Kentucky, now in LA, with extremely powerful declarations on this, what is today? Saturday night, I guess it is. Let's see, where else are we going? Let's go to, is this David from Colorado? David from Colorado, or city? It says city as well.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, David from Colorado Springs. How you doing, man?
Colorado Springs. Oh, you know, I used to think of Colorado Springs as this home of right-wing nuttery, because it's like one of the main hubs of evangelical Christianity in the country, but it's actually quite diverse, and there's a big progressive movement in Colorado Springs as well, right?
Yeah, it's pretty progressive. At least the groups, I mean, I've never really been pushed or run into anybody that's super religious or anything like that.
Yeah, I would love to visit. It's a place I'm very curious about.
Very, very pretty. Really cool place to visit, and way cheaper than Denver. Awesome place. Couldn't recommend it enough.
Well, what's on your mind today?
I just had a quick question. I want to get your opinion on something like that. What is one major issue that you fear will have a major impact on your child in the future that could be resolved by politicians working together today? For example, global warming, overpopulation, some sort of currency issue, firearms, etc.
Global warming and firearms certainly come to mind. Education, you know, the decline of public education by design, from Republican design. Yeah, there's many issues I could name.
What's the one you think? For me, it's global warming.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about global warming is if our cities are underwater, everything else kind of doesn't matter. So that's why it often comes to mind first to me.
Yeah, and I just feel like there could be such a butterfly effect that can't be calculated by scientists today. Like we could just lose one insect that could cause like the craziest thing to happen and mass death, and who knows.
Yeah, it's a little bit of chaos theory for you. I don't know if that's literally true. I mean, maybe the bee, but I don't know
I don't
about.
think it's literally true, but yeah, I was just thinking like the butterfly effect thing.
Yeah,
But I
no, it's a
appreciate you
concern.
taking the call and talking.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your support. Great people calling in today. It's really great to hear from so many great people. Thanks to R, Rhino, and Breezy, as well as Mafai or Maful for gifting a subscription on Twitch. All of this puts us at 70. Let's go next to Josh in Michigan. Josh, welcome.
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, beautiful. Well, I had one question or two. That the first one being, do you think there's anyone who, in the way like Bernie seemed to kind of unite progressives and around the 2016 election, do you think there's anyone right now besides him who might be able to do that, like rally up people?
You know, I don't know. And the problem with answering this question is that no matter who I name, someone will be really mad. Like let's say, for example, I was like, you know, AOC could unite everybody. The more center left Democrats would say, no, she's too far left and is, is that she would be divisive. And then I could go, well, you know who I think would really unite everybody? Someone like Pete Buttigieg. And then you'd have some people go, no, he's too far to the center. So I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't know that Bernie really, you're saying progressives, but I think you really need to unite all of the left, which is bigger than progressives. I don't know. I do think that as far as politicians go, I think Pete Buttigieg is great. I think Jamie Raskin is great. I think John Ossoff is great. You know, there's a lot of people that I think are really interesting, but it's hard for me to say anyone in particular would be particularly unifying for all of the left.
That's fair. Yeah, that makes sense. My other question was, my friend and I were talking, and he kind of has the assumption that right now the economy is kind of going down, like it's doing pretty bad. But I've heard recently on some of your shows that you think it's doing well. What points do you think can be made that the economy is doing well right now?
Well, I'm curious, what are the metrics by which your friend says the economy is declining?
That's what I don't know. I think maybe jobs, because I know like obviously unemployment is low right now, but I was thinking, is that because, how many people right now are working second jobs? So
yeah,
maybe in the jobs area.
That's a talking point that's repeated often, but there's really no teeth to it. I mean, here's the deal with jobs. In July, the expectation was 250,000 new jobs. There were 520,000. Okay, more than double. We're essentially at full employment in the United States right now. So I don't think that that's a very strong argument. I mean, I'm open to the economy has problems. We have wage issues. We have inequality issues. We still have inflation. There's lots of issues. But by all of the traditional metrics, the economy is doing quite well right now.
Okay. Well, fantastic. I think that's it.
All right. Thank you so much for the call and appreciate your support.
Thanks.
All right. Why don't we go next to Teddy from New York? Teddy, welcome.
Yo, it's good. Can you hear me?
Just barely. It sounds like you're talking through either a voice modulator or something very strange.
All right, let's see about this. I'm going to put the other headphone in.
Yeah, that's better.
All right, sweet. You can hear me and all that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's great to be talking to you. I'm a longtime viewer and recently signed up with the crazy Obama deal. Which,
that was a crazy
wonderful.
deal. Yeah, that's a shocking one.
That was great. That was great. Well, look, I was going to ask a question about, economic issues. I'm a recent college graduate struggling to make rent, as many of us are. But thinking about what the last caller said, I think Josh from Michigan, about, somebody to unite the Democratic Party more on the left. I'm really thinking about Stacey Abrams.
Mm-hmm.
Stacey Abrams, I think, has a very charismatic, outward appearance, but extremely progressive and practical and pragmatic.
I tend to agree with you. I like Stacey Abrams a lot, and I think she's incredibly savvy politically, in addition to just having the right views on most issues. I would put her on my list as well.
Yeah, she is savvy. That's a fact. And so yeah, there's that. And I was, I also just wanted to comment. Somebody earlier in the live stream was talking about, oh, right wingers and QAnon people. It's hard to get them to separate the church from the state. And I agree with you in that it's unconstitutional to do so and all that. But at a certain point, it doesn't matter. I think with Christianity, I was thinking immediately about what Kierkegaard says about the leap, the leap that you have to make towards belief. Once you make that leap, I think it's hard to separate, teachings from reality. And so I just wanted to make that comment before I head out.
Well, thank you, Teddy. I appreciate that.
All right, man.
All right. There is Teddy from New York with a number of very strong declarations. Why don't we go next to Adam from Long Island? Adam, welcome. Adam from Long Island, welcome.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh. Hey, how you doing, David? I got a short question and a slightly longer one.
Okay, let's do the short one.
The first one is, what do you think about Biden coming out and calling GOP semi-fascist?
It's perfectly accurate, and he's absolutely correct.
Yeah, I agree. Second question, a little longer. The mood in this channel, not just this channel, but all over really the internet, kind of tends to be really cynical these days, and I tend to lean the other way, kind of cautiously optimistic about things. I've been that. This is how I am. Just want to know what you think, if there's maybe an underrated component about the morale among basically, I guess, the left and the normal people of America who keep on living in a democracy. And if that cynicism is,
Yeah, I mean, this is tough because I think there are a lot of things to be concerned about, and there are massive risks right now. And if this right-wing authoritarian slide seizes power again, it is really bad. There's a lot at stake. And also, I kind of do agree with you. I think it's just by nature, I'm sort of like mildly optimistic that over time, things will trend in the right direction. So I think it's really a balance. We want to understand what's at stake, but not become completely cynical where we give up.
Exactly how I
Yeah.
would phrase it. Oh, thank you for taking my call. Appreciate it.
All right, Adam from Long Island, thank you so much. Take care. There is Adam from Long Island. Important topic. Absolutely an important topic for sure. Let's go to, I don't know. Let's go to SD from Dallas, Texas. SD, what's going on? SD, where are you calling from? SD, where are you calling from? I just hear background noise. SD, what's going on there? Oh boy. All right, well, that didn't work. Wow, that was strange. Let's go next to Matt from Portland, Oregon. Matt, welcome.
Hey, David, is the sound okay?
It's beautiful, thank you.
I apologize, I don't have a very well thought out question. I'm a little bit playing hooky at work here.
Okay.
Do you have any idea what happened to the conversation between you and Coleman Hughes? I remember you talking about that some time ago, and I was looking forward to
We did it. I appeared on his show, and he was on mine.
Oh, yeah, but I thought I don't think he's published it yet.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, I think it's not published. He's had a number of podcast updates. And
Let's
yeah,
take a look at this. Coleman Hughes. That's really weird.
I mean, I hope you guys didn't have like a giant blow up or something.
No, not at all. Listen, I don't know. If he didn't publish it, I don't really understand why. But I guess I don't know. I thought he did publish it. I'm not sure.
I'll double check again.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just a timing thing. But
let's investigate.
Anyway, Will do. But yeah, no, anyway, a big fan of the show, and I'll try to think of something more substantive for next time.
Well, I appreciate your support. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate the phone call. It is great hearing from people from all over. Let's go to Aiden from Alberta, Canada. Aiden, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well.
This is my first question. It might not take long because it's a hypothetical, and I don't know if you like to go too deep into those, but it's basically, I'm just wondering if you think there's any chance there's a connection between the missing Secret Service texts and the documents found at Mar-a-Lago.
Not that I can connect right now. I mean, I wouldn't rule anything out, but no, what would the connection be?
Well, I don't know how this would even take place, but I'm just wondering if Trump somehow got the text deleted and then took the copies of them or something to Mar-a-Lago, like physical copies, but I don't even know if that'd be possible.
Seems far-fetched, and I'm not even aware of any of the documents being text messages, you know?
Okay, no problem. I just another question. I'm kind of, I guess, I would like to be a filmmaker one day. I know you like documentaries, and I'm wondering if you've ever seen any documentaries that have like really changed your view on a topic, and in your opinion, what kind of makes a story more persuasive than others, in your opinion, I guess?
Wow, that's a really good question that I am wholly unprepared to answer. I mean, yes, tons of documentaries I've seen have shifted my view on things. I don't know about like a total 180, but certainly I've had shifts in my views on things from documentaries I've seen. What makes them? I mean, I think when they at least appear to be both extremely honest and well researched, I think that those are the two components that go. Some of them, some of them are extremely emotionally edited, but you just don't buy what they're selling, and in that case, they're not particularly influential. So I think it has to be an all of the above.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot there, but have a good rest of your show, and I'll be listening.
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's great to hear. I want to say thanks to Tom Hickson, who just signed up at joinpakman.com and is new member number 71 today. Let's speak to more people. It is the David Pakman Show, members only town hall. All are welcome to watch, but today we are only welcoming our members. Let's listen to our friend Francois from Montreal. Welcome back, Francois.
David, sir, it's nice to talk to you again.
Likewise.
So I was listening to your award-winning bonus show where you want to make money.
Yes.
It sounds like you had quite the Montreal trip.
It was a beautiful trip. You know, I've been to Montreal 20 times, and it's really great. I met up with MP Anthony Housefather, who represents the western part of Montreal. He watches the show. We went for a beautiful walk and talked about Canadian politics and so many different things. The food was great. I had some great pastries and visited family. It was just a great trip.
Yeah, well, I'm bummed I wasn't in town all of last week, but I would have loved to run into you. Sounds like you met up with lots of different people. But
I would come out of a dep, as you guys call them, and people would be there saying, "David, sir, welcome." And then where else was I? I was on the street at one point, walking up and down, urgently looking for a place to go to dinner before my daughter completely threw a temper tantrum. And someone came up to me and said, "David, hey." And it was just all over the place. It was wild.
So it's fair to say you experienced many elements from the standpoint of Montreal, I think.
I could not possibly deny that. Yeah.
All right. Well, actually, it's funny. My question relates a bit to what you were just talking about. I thought that was quite interesting that you spent some time with Anthony Housefather.
Yeah.
So I guess, did you meet just from him being a fan of your show?
Yeah, we just follow each other on Twitter, and I told him I'm going to be in town, and he said let's meet up.
Oh, cool. So you guys talk about some, I guess, U.S. politics, Canadian politics, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, all completely informally, you know.
Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, I know American politics is obviously your specialty, but I'd be definitely interested in hearing more of your thoughts on Canadian politics maybe one day, or maybe next time we have an election, do a little bit of
Yeah,
coverage
I
of
mean,
that.
I don't know. There's so many people far better suited to comment on it. I don't want to be out of my lane. Like, who am I to comment on Canadian politics? I mean, I can,
Well, we could use a David Pakman in Canada, like a similar sort of progressive
that's
online
fair.
podcast show. That would be nice. So,
That's fair.
but
That's
maybe you guys can
absolutely fair.
get like an on the ground Canadian beat going, since I know you spend a lot of time up in Montreal.
Yeah,
Who
I
knows?
would consider doing that. Yeah. Listen, where are you on poutine at this point? Pro or against?
Oh, of course I'm pro poutine, but it's
You're
got to
pro.
be, I don't like to mess with it too much. I know there's a lot of people, I mean, La Banquise, you've probably heard of it, possibly you've been there, one of the more famous poutine establishments.
What was the name of it?
La Banquise,
Oh, I have not been. No, I've not heard of that.
Banquise. Oh, really? Okay. Well, it's definitely considered the more like highly recommended tourist poutine place. It's in the plateau.
Oh, see, I don't want tourist poutine. I want local poutine.
So that's the thing. Well, I mean, it is a local place. It's not like it's a chain or anything. But
Yeah.
my opinion on poutine's evolved a lot over the years. I used to like that place, but that's they kind of go a little bit crazy with it. You can get poutines with all sorts of meat on it. I think there's like a Mexican one that comes with guacamole.
Oh, they're completely adulterating it.
That's what I think. The older I get and the more poutines I have, the more I want to stick to just a real classic fries, real hot gravy, get the squeaky cheese.
I
nice and
agree.
melted.
There's places that are completely bastardizing your pastrami on rye with mustard, and they start doing all sorts of extraneous toppings and wild things. It's like, what's good about it is the simplicity. You put it on either rye, marble rye, or pumpernickel. You've got your pastrami. You've got deli mustard. If you want Swiss on it, that's fine. But we don't need to go crazy just because it's 2022.
Couldn't agree more. What's your take on Schwartz's?
I tried to go to Schwartz's when I was just in Montreal. The line was 2 blocks, and I have got a 12-week-old daughter, so I had to abort the trip over there.
Understandable. Well, let me give you a little tip. Maybe, I don't know if you noticed this when you were there, but there's actually 2 doors. There's the main door that the lineup is going into. There's a door right next to it that doesn't often have a line. It's for the takeout, but there's actually even tables to eat in the takeout establishment.
Is that right?
Little local tip for you next time you're here.
I'm going to have to examine that. Now, just one other Montreal thing. I used to love this cocktail bar, Big in Japan. Are you familiar with that?
I live right around the corner from where it used to be.
Right. And it seems that it's just gone.
I believe it is. There were 2 locations at one point. One was the cocktail bar. One was the restaurant. I think only the restaurant remains, although I might be mistaken about that too.
Yeah.
We'll have to look into it very strongly.
Well, I found another one. There's a cocktail bar called the Cold Room where you have to send a text and they let you in some filthy back door and through the back of some restaurant. And all of a sudden, this beautiful cocktail bar opens up like in the double basement of some place.
Yeah, that was. You said you were staying down there, right, in the Old Port?
I was in the Old Port. Yep.
Yeah, I'm surprised a veteran of Montreal travel like yourself would stay down there, and I'm not surprised to hear about that whole debacle that unfolded.
Here's the thing: I've completely outgrown the Old Port neighborhood. I really like St. Henry. I thought that was a kind of Brooklyn-like neighborhood, and there's all these other areas. But just because of what I was doing and the people I was visiting, it was the most convenient place.
Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes you have to make sacrifices.
It was a sacrifice. All right, my friend. Well, thank you for the call.
Yeah. Pleasure to speak with you as always.
Francois from Montreal. Great to hear from him. Let's hear from, I don't know. Let's come back to the United States and maybe talk to, who knows? It's there's just so many folks here. How about Tommy from Wisconsin? Tommy, welcome.
Can you hear me all right?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I guess I had one question for you. If you had the oversight on the plan, the inflation lowering plan, what would you set the minimum corporate tax percentage at? Would you set it higher?
The minimum corporate tax. Oh, for what income? See, for me, I think it probably should be progressive. I think For a small business, I would set a different minimum tax than for a larger business. And the trick of it is you also have to consider what counts as a deductible expense and what doesn't for the purposes of a minimum tax. That it's a very complicated question. I wouldn't be able to give you just one number.
Sure. Yeah. And, you look at it, it's like, oh, well, the percentage is going up to 15%, but I believe somewhere in the bill, it's for, profits over $1 billion. So it really doesn't include, I would even say, the majority of the big companies.
Right. I mean, a company that's making 100 million should still be subject to that. And you could argue that it should be a different percentage. But yeah, no, I think it was done in a way where it's relatively inoffensive to the vast majority of businesses, although, of course, it's targeting the very, very big ones.
Sure, absolutely. And one comment I had from your podcast today, you had mentioned that many or some of the documents from Mar-a-Lago were ripped up.
Yep.
That's because they're easier to flush once they've been ripped up.
Absolutely. You can't flush full sheets of paper in the same way that you can flush little shreds.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very difficult. So you would be flushing 10 to 15 times.
No. Absolutely not. You could probably get, with a 5 flusher, you can get the shreds down. Yeah.
Great. All right. Thank you for taking my call, David.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this members-only town hall. We will very soon be scheduling another regular town hall at which members will still get priority, but we will open it to everyone. We have 2 more streams over the next 3 days. Tomorrow night, I will be with you for Joe Biden addressing the nation. And then Saturday, I will be with you for the failed former President Trump trying to use language to communicate, which should be quite a scene. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me. See you back here very, very soon.